1. Christmas should be a time of joy and shopping for that perfect turkey. But not this Christmas, not in this small town, and not this year. Everything was running smoothly at the National Bank for Vincent Smythe, the manager, as he mingled with the customers on another festive Eve day. He was a larger-than-life character, always chatty and polite, but at 65 was ready for retirement. "Only 6 months to go," he would tell people, but he'd been saying that for the past year. Now customers just smiled and nodded at him. He stood by the main door, peering outside to see 2 unknown men wearing long, thick coats, hurriedly walking towards the bank. But his jovial attitude remained firm as he opened the door to let them in. He greeted them with a wave, but quickly lowered his hand after they ignored him to stand in the queue. "Good morning, gentlemen," he asked. "How are you today? Have you come to take money out because you've forgotten to buy presents?" But the men just smiled at him and looked away. Vincent felt nervous as he looked them up and down, noticing their clothing and footwear dirty. But the customers took no notice as they happily waited to be served. Vincent assumed someone knew the men, so nodded and walked away. But one of them briskly released a metal bar from beneath his coat and violently smacked him across the back of the head. He fell to his knees, cowering as the second stranger rushed to the main door, shouting words, not in English, to leave the customers spooked. They backed against the wall as the man holding the metal bar crashed it against the face of a second victim, also yelling out foreign words as Vincent held his head to stem the blood flow. He wanted the cashiers to raise the alarm, but they were as freaked out as everyone else, so couldn't do it. Their eyes terrified to see the metal bar point in their direction before crashing down on the unfortunate man again to bust his nose wide open. He shrunk to the floor next to Vincent, screaming in agony. The crazy-eyed attacker grabbed Vincent by his hair, nastily hauling him off the floor to spit out more threatening words. But Vincent tried fighting back. He grabbed hold of the weapon and attempted to twist it out of the man's hand. But the man was too strong, gaining control in seconds to kick Vincent against the wall. He kept kicking until Vincent begged him to stop. The second stranger stayed where he was, flicking his attention from the outside to the frightened customers as he sadistically grinned at Vincent's woeful pleas for mercy. He said something to the other robber whilst pointing at the door leading to the cashiers, nodding after seeing the man lift Vincent again to push him towards it. But the loud thud of Vincent being slammed against it caused the cashiers to weep. They shuddered after the metal bar almost busted a hole through the door, crying louder after the man screamed at them, but neither opened it until Vincent told them to. He was thrown to the floor beside them, his head still pouring out blood as the man pulled bin bags from his coat before dropping them next to a cashier. "You want, he wants," Vincent murmured, staggering to his feet. "Just do it!" The cashier nervously handed bags to the other staff members before silently emptying her cash drawer, the others doing the same in fear that they too would taste cold metal. The customers huddled in a corner like sheep being rounded up by a sheepdog, neither used to what was happening because the town was normally a ghost town for any serious crime. But a woman in her mid-50s plucked up the courage to reach for her phone. "Don't do it, Maggie," the close friend whispered, watching the man by the main door stare outside again. "These guys are dangerous." "I'm not letting them win," Maggie replied. "Just hide me." The other customers moved in front of her as she rushed fingers over the digits, but they gulped after the man stared at them. "Maggie, stop, he's looking this way," her friend whispered. "Just keep him busy." But the phone rang out loud. "Shit," Maggie continued, sweating as she turned off the loudspeaker. The man stopped